Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It has been years since he was in the major spotlight, but he created an all-time song that virtually defined early 60s rock and soul. Today we say a sad goodbye to the great Bobby Lewis, who has died at age 97. The Indiana native performed as a singer in Indianapolis with the Leo Hines Orchestra, but moved to New York to jumpstart a solo singing career. After a few minor releases, he hit play dirt in 1960 at age 35 with Tossin and Turnin, one of the defining songs of the era. It was a monster recording, topping the charts for nearly 2 months, and has been recorded by countless other acts over the years, but none bested Lewis's original. Lewis hit the chart again a year later with the hit One Track Mind, which landed in the top 10, but that became his last major release, as his label, Belltone Records, went out of business. Unfortunately, he was not able to rekindle his career well for his future label, ABC Paramount. Despite his limited recording period, Lewis reportedly continued to perform well into his 90s and was adored by his East Coast audiences. We only knew him for a couple of songs, but what songs they were. Godspeed, Bobby Lewis. Thanks for getting us moving. Bobby Lewis was raised in an orphanage and ran away from his foster home at age 14. He worked carnivals and eventually joined the Leo Hines Orchestra in Indianapolis as a singer. He worked small clubs and theatres during the 50s and cut Mumbles Blues for the Spotlight label earlier that decade. Passed through Mercury Records roster and briefly hooked up with Nat Tarmpole, who also managed Jackie Wilson. In late 1960, while appearing at the Apollo Theatre in New York, Lewis stopped at the offices of Belltone Records, a small independent outfit in Manhattan, and was prevailed upon to write a song written by another artist on the Apollo bill, Richie Adams, called Tossin and Turnin. The single was issued at the end of 1960 and lightning struck in 1961. Sales of the record were so strong that, for the only time in its history, Belltone issued an accompanying album by Lewis. None of his subsequent records sold remotely as well as the 3 million copies of Tossin and Turnin, and by the end of 1962, Lewis seemed to have run out on his string. In 1963, Belltone itself went belly up. Lewis later had limited success, Start Raving Mad, on ABC Paramount, and was soon after consigned to rock and roll history, somewhat unfairly, as a one-hit wonder. Thanks for listening. Please like, comment and subscribe.